If you're a field engineer out there auditing a site, or maybe a business traveler tracking a whole week of expenses, or honestly, just someone diligently logging daily health vitals, you probably know this exact pain. You are completely drowning in a camera roll full of messy receipts, random gauge readings, and just an endless sea of site photos. And then, at the end of the week, you have to somehow stitch all of that chaos together into something actually legible. Well, welcome to today's explainer. Today we're looking at a tool designed specifically to eliminate that exact headache. It's called WisePhoto. Okay, here's our quick roadmap for today. First, we'll talk about the end of photo dumps. Second, we'll look at the core WisePhoto loop. Third, we'll see how it handles 3 jobs in one app. Fourth, we'll check out some optional AI superpowers. And finally, we'll cover exporting clean reports. Let's get to it. Section 1, the end of photo dumps, and how you can finally reclaim your camera roll. Okay, let's dive into this. Let's jump right into that universal frustration anyone working in the field knows all too well, the dreaded late-night reporting session. WisePhoto really attacks this with one central, absolutely crucial mantra. Hand someone a report, not a photo dump. So it's not just another photo app, it's really a documentation tool built right for your pocket. Because whether you're at a remote trailhead, a well site, or sitting in a job trailer, the goal is to produce practical, useful outcomes, not just take pictures for the sake of it, right? I mean, just think about the old way of doing things. You take 50 photos, you drag yourself back to the hotel, and then you spend hours trying to rewrite field notes, completely guessing which pipe or which receipt was at which location. It's a nightmare. WisePhoto flips this completely on its head with a shoot-once ethos. Your text description, the exact timestamp, the GPS location, and the photo, they all stay glued together as one unified entry right from the start. And crucially, and this matters a lot if you're doing sensitive work, your data stays strictly on your device. Absolutely nothing goes to the cloud unless you explicitly decide to export it. Moving on to Section 2, the core WisePhoto loop, which is never more than 2 taps deep. So how does this actually work when you're, say, wearing thick work gloves or rushing to catch a flight? Well, the entire application is built around this incredibly simple 5-step loop. You just take a photo. Boom, it automatically stamps it with your device's time and GPS. Then you describe it using your keyboard or voice dictation, you save it to a project, and eventually you just export a report. What makes this workflow so incredibly powerful is that you are literally never more than 2 taps deep. The capture screen is just one continuous scrolling page, no annoying multi-step wizards. And honestly, perhaps the most vital detail for field workers, the whole thing works completely offline. If your cell signal entirely drops while you're deep in a basement or out in the wilderness, no worries. You can still capture, save, and browse like normal. You can really tell the app is built for the actual realities of fieldwork. Take the sticky save feature, for example. Have you ever been right in the middle of typing a massive, detailed note on your phone, you accidentally swipe back, and you lose absolutely everything? So frustrating, right? Well, WisePhoto actually prevents that. If you try to leave a screen with an unsaved photo, it literally stops you and asks if you want to save, discard, or stay. It's a tiny little feature, sure, but it saves massive headaches. Plus, you can find your past entries instantly. Like you can just type 127/82 and pull up that specific blood pressure reading in seconds. All right, Section 3, 3 jobs, 1 app, handling travel, data logs, and expenses. So we've seen the core loop, but the real magic is how that single, elegant workflow adopts to 3 incredibly distinct use cases that would usually require 3 totally separate apps. You use the exact same interface whether you're logging a travel trip, a data log, or a business expense. These are really just different categories of the exact same entry type, and you group them under projects that you name yourself. So you're not stuck learning a completely new user interface for your receipts versus your site visits. It's all just right there. Let's look at the nuances here because this is where the app really flexes its muscles. For travel projects, the default sort is taken order, basically oldest first, so your trip reads chronologically like a story, complete with place tags and beautiful high-definition keepsake photos. But then for a data log or an expense project, the default sort flips to newest first, because you usually want to see your most recent gauge reading or receipt right at the very top. The data logs are particularly clever, by the way. If you type a reading like 127/82, the app automatically fills dedicated systolic and diastolic fields and even calculates your pulse pressure for you. You can even track medication taken with a quick little checklist, no photo required for that specific entry. Now, I want to highlight a surprising yet highly practical detail here, and that is the number 5. That is the maximum number of photos you can attach to a single entry.
So think about it. If you're inspecting a really complex piece of machinery, you don't need to create 5 separate entries for it. You just snap up to 5 photos, they are kept locked in the exact order you took them, and the very first one automatically acts as the cover image for that entry in your final report. Super clean.
Okay, let's move into Section 4, Optional AI Superpowers, getting smart assistance when you actually want it. So far, we've talked entirely about a strictly offline, on-device tool. But what if you want the power of AI, but you also absolutely value your privacy? Because let's face it, in professional environments, you just cannot have some rogue AI scanning your proprietary data or sensitive patient vitals and silently beaming them up to the cloud. No way. Well, WisePhoto has a highly secure, opt-in approach to artificial intelligence that puts you, the user, entirely in control. The absolute most crucial takeaway here is that the AI is purely opt-in. It never, ever runs automatically when you save a photo. In fact, to even use it, you actually have to bring your own Anthropic API key. The default and highly recommended model for mobile browsers is Claude's Sonnet 4.5. And because you are providing your own key, the usage is billed directly to your own account, which usually works out to just fractions of a cent per use. Most importantly, that API key stays securely locked right on your device. Your data isn't being routed to some mystery middleman server. It's a direct, completely optional line to Anthropic, and it only activates when you explicitly hit the assist button. And this brilliantly illustrates how it works in practice. When you do Tap Assist, the AI basically acts as a custom assistant tailored specifically for the exact job you are doing. So on an expense project, it'll look at a receipt photo and extract the vendor, the amount, and the currency. On a data log, it reads gauges, serial plates, or even the digital numbers straight off a blood pressure cuff. For travel, it suggests relevant place names and tags. It even reads your specific project notes. So if you casually mention you're at a specific national park with a client, the AI actually knows that context and won't just invent random people or places. Now, there is a very vital distinction we need to make right here. While the AI can obviously look at a photo and extract a number for you to review, when it comes to your actual project page metrics, things like your running expense totals or your average blood pressure over a week, those numbers are computed locally on your device using standard, reliable math. The AI is only there to add conversational commentary. The hard numbers themselves are never AI generated, which means they can't be hallucinated. You can always trust the math. Which brings us to our final part, Section 5, exporting clean reports, and looking at exactly what you get out of this app. Let's look at the tangible results you're handing over at the end of the day. You can generate incredibly specific deliverables directly from your phone, literally no laptop required. You can output a beautiful branded PDF complete with a cover page, project metrics, and your photos laid out full width or in a space-saving thumbnail grid. Need to make some tweaks before sending it off? Just export a fully editable Word document. For your expenses, you can generate a clean CSV file to drop straight into your accounting software. I mean, just compare delivering one crisp, professional PDF to your boss versus texting them 20 loose images and a chaotic string of half-written text messages. It's like night and day, right? And if you happen to be using the data log specifically for health tracking, WisePhoto handles your weekly vitals brilliantly. If you log at least 2 blood pressure readings in a Monday to Sunday week, it automatically generates a highly specialized PDF. It actually drops the photos entirely and creates these beautiful landscape charts showing your systolic and diastolic bands, your heart rate, and even little ticks showing exactly when you took your medication. And if you have the AI enabled, it even appends an informational analysis of your readings and medication interactions, flagging potential issues for you to discuss with your doctor. Now, let's address a highly practical problem for you frequent users out there. We all know high-resolution photos eat up phone storage incredibly fast. So if all this data lives locally on your device and not up in the cloud, how on earth do you keep your phone from completely running out of space after months of fieldwork? Well, the app actually has an incredibly elegant solution for exactly this. You can archive any project to a zip file. This packages everything up securely. Once it's saved, you can then tell WisePhoto to go ahead and remove those heavy photo files off your device. But here is the magic part. It keeps the text entries and all the project page data fully intact on your phone. You can still search your old notes and see your historical charts. You just free up all those gigabytes of photo data. And hey, a quick pro tip straight from the source: if your backup zip gets larger than Gmail's standard 25 megabyte attachment limit, you can simply use WisePhoto's built-in file manager to copy that zip directly into a folder like Google Drive. Which brings us right to the end of our explainer. We've seen how this simple, focused tool, running entirely in your pocket without any App Store logins or constant cloud syncing, can literally transform a chaotic camera roll into structured professional data. The data stays completely yours, the AI steps in to help only when you ask it to, and the final output is just undeniable. So, are you ready to stop dumping photos and start actually delivering clean reports on your next site visit? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and happy logging.